So here we are, the very first how-to episode. And for that episode, I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for a how-to? Let's see. What can I do that I can show people how to do? And I do this. That's curb wax. That is a product I sell in stores, or to stores, who then sell it to you. But today, I'm going to show you with a few simple ingredients how you can make a quality wax. It won't be this because this has a ton of ingredients in it. But, you can find stuff around the house. You'll already have most of this stuff. Minimal cost. You can put together a decent curb wax. Unlike a candle, it shouldn't flake everywhere, which you end up standing in. It gets all over your grip tape. I hate dirty grip tape. But enough about me. Let's get into the wax. So let's talk what equipment you're going to need. All right. Important. Old pot. You don't necessarily have to ruin the pot, so it doesn't have to be an old pot. But I prefer just to have a dedicated pot for making wax. So if you don't have one you're willing to sacrifice, Kmart, $6 will get you this. Any charity store, probably a couple of bucks or something like that. Next thing you're going to want, something to stir with, and then you're going to just use your cooktop, and you're going to need something to pour your final product in. So I use these silicone molds. I mentioned Kmart, and I picked these up, I believe they were $5 or something like that. They're really handy, but you can use like any microwave safe plastic containers, anything like that. It's just got to be able to handle a bit of initial heat when you pour the wax in there. These silicone ones, these are supposed to be for making your own soap. I got these on eBay. They were $3. So, there's options out there. I would recommend not using glass. Just because the wax, you'll never get it to come out, basically. It's like good in concept, but yeah, it fails miserably. And so once you've got your pot, your stirring implement, your cooktop, and your mold, then you're ready to go. Let's grab some ingredients. All right, ingredients wise, it's wax, right? What's made of wax? Crayons are made of wax. Candles are made of wax. You can buy flaked or solid blocks of pure paraffin. It's generally very cheap. But today, because we're using stuff from around the house, just a couple of household candles. You could also use tea light candles. It's not going to be the best quality wax using this because you don't actually know what's in there. That's why ideally you'd be using paraffin wax, just pure paraffin wax that you can get from any sort of candle making store or anything like that. Some supermarkets do sell flaked wax. I don't know why. Next thing you're going to want to get, white petroleum jelly. And I just got the no-name brand version. I think this was $2 or something like that. And that's going to go a long way, by the way. You're nowhere near this. But you should have some, like Vaseline or something like that around the house. The reason we're using petroleum jelly is because paraffin or wax is a petroleum byproduct. So these things mix together. And next ingredient is you can use actual butter. I prefer to use coconut butter because it gives the wax like a nice coconutty smell. It feels like summer when you're waxing your ledge or curb. And next thing, just some vegetable oil. You can use olive oil if you want to. You don't need a lot. So with those basic ingredients, your candles, your butter, your petroleum jelly / Vaseline, and your vegetable. Let's get started. I just use a camping cooker. You can just use your stovetop, as I said. You just want to put that on the lowest possible flame. You can go ahead and chuck your broken up bits of candle in there. They don't have to be tiny bits. I don't even worry about taking the wick out. It's just adding complication to your life that you don't really need. And then you're just going to put a bit of the old butter in there. Now, the more butter you put in, the softer and flakier it's going to be. That goes the same with the olive oil. You just want to just pour a tiny bit of cooking oil in there, I should have said. Tiny bit of cooking oil, you know, just over a teaspoon, something like that for the amount we're going to make. Last but not least, you got your petroleum jelly. Put a fair whack in there. That will actually help it to not flake, and it'll give you a nice consistency throughout. So then just going to stir that around. So I'm just going to throw a little bit of wax dye in there. This is specific wax dye. If you're after an easier way to add color to it, you can just use something like a crayon. Do not use food coloring. It doesn't work. Oil and water don't mix, and food coloring is water-based. So this is why I didn't bother taking the wicks out of the candles. Just pulled them out as the wax is melting. And did I mention, very low flame. You don't want this heating up. You don't want to bring it to the boil. So now that you've got your melted product, what you're going to do is you're going to turn your stovetop off. So once that's done, you've got everything out of the way. You're keeping... Now, if you're doing this in your kitchen, you probably want to put like an old towel or something like that down, because as you can see, it splatters a bit. This is my workshop, so I don't really care if shit gets on the bench. So yeah, everything's fine. Now that your wax is nicely melted, it's time to pour it in your mold. Like I said, I'm not worried about mess in here, but if you're doing this in your kitchen or over carpet particularly, like, yeah, maybe exercise a little caution there. We just fill up our molds. We should get at least 2 blocks of wax out of this. That's perfect. We're going to give that about an hour to dry and then come back and have a look. Okay, so it's been about closer to 2 hours. Completely cooled. Let's see how we went. That one looks pretty nice. Let's head to a curb and see how they work. All right, here we are at the Great Curbs. I picked this spot to test it because there are so many curbs here and a lot of them haven't been waxed before. If they have, a long time ago, that wax would have worn off by now. So yeah, let's pick a curb. We'll try and find a nice dry one and apply some wax and see how it works. I know this is an unusual technique, but I have a back injury. For me, this feels like it's going on pretty good, and that should let us know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to call that a successful test. Sorry I couldn't do any more tricks or anything more complicated than the frontside 50-50 and the backside crooked grind. But as I said before, I have a back injury. It's kind of preventing me from doing a lot of what I'd like to do, except showing you guys how to make wax. I did notice it flaked a little bit, and I think that's because we did use candles. So yeah, you might want to change that up and actually get some pure paraffin wax if you're going to be doing this regularly. It's probably worthwhile. Damo, Sore Losers Show, how to make your own curb wax.